So this video is going to show us what we need to do when there is a decimal in the dividend, which is the first number. The very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my division house. I'm going to put the first number, the dividend, on the inside. And I'm going to put the second number, which is the divisor, on the outside. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to write down my division steps over here on the side. Divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. And I'm going to check each of these off as I do them. I'm going to ignore the decimal point for now, and I'll come back to the decimal point at the end. But for right now, I'm just going to pretend that this number is 5,418 and that this decimal point isn't here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do my division step. I'm going to ask myself how many times 6 divides into 5. 6 does not go into 5, so I'm going to put an X here as a placeholder. Now I'm going to go to 54, and I'm going to ask myself how many times 6 divides into 54. 6 goes into 54 9 times. That was my division step. The next step is multiplication, so I'm going to multiply 9 times 6 to get exactly 54. That was multiplication. Now I'm going to subtract. 54 minus 54 is 0. That was the subtraction step. And then the last step is bring down. So I'm going to bring down this 1 and put it right next to the 0. That was bring down. Because this number at the end is not a 0, it's a 1, I'm going to go back and do my steps again. So I'm going to ask myself how many times 6 divides into 1. 6 cannot go into 1, it's too small. So 6 can't go into 1, so I'm going to put a 0 up here to show that 6 goes into 1 0 times. That was division. Next step is multiplication, so I'm going to multiply 0 times 6 to get 0. That was multiplication. Next step is that I'm going to subtract, so 1 minus 0 is 1. That was subtraction. And then the last step is bring down, so I'm going to bring down this 8 so that it's right next to the 1, making this 18. That was bring down. Again, because this number is not a 0, I'm going to do the steps one more time. I'm going to start with division. I'm asking myself how many times 6 divides into 18. 6 goes into 18 3 times. That was the division step. 3 times 6 is 18. That was multiplication. The next step is subtraction, so I'm subtracting 18 minus 18 to get 0. That was the subtraction step. And there are no other digits left to bring down, and this number here is a 0, so that means I'm finished. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this decimal point in my dividend, and I'm going to bring it straight up through the roof of the house and put it right between the 9 and the 0. So that means that the answer to my division problem is 9.03.